Mm.
Welcome back to another week of Word of Mouth, discussing mental health, relationships, career goals, etc., self-care, and whatnot. Sorry for the late videos, but between the hurricane, moving, and recently married, just a lot going on right now, but, hopefully things will get back on track right now. So let's get into it. This week we're going to be discussing manipulative behavior. This is going to come in a two-part series as of right now, probably extend it a little further. This one is really geared towards how women manipulate men, although not to say men don't manipulate women, but that's what these posts reflect that I'm going to go over. So let's get into it. The first one. Damn, these men ain't playing no more. I told him a lot of things he gotta change for us to work, but he gotta accept me for who I am. Why? Because he agreed and I gave him head for agreeing, and he left right after he blocked me. Bye, never gave that. Laughed my ass off. Bye, never gave that. I don't know what that means at the end, but whatever. So basically the guy played her, and I can't say he's wrong for doing that. Two wrongs don't make it right, but they make you even. So, that's just a matter of perspective of how you feel about that. And, whether men or women, a lot of people go into situations where they feel they don't have to change. They don't feel like there's nothing wrong with they genuinely feel like there's nothing wrong with them, or they do it in a sense to say, hey. They do it in a sense to say, hey, I just want you kind of like a chauffeur or maid or a butler, so she got played for it. This is pretty much cut clear and dry. The guy was smart in the way he handled the situation by cutting her off, because all that was gonna do is get worse. It starts with just just little things here and there, and then it goes into your finances, then it goes into other things, and then when she finds someone bigger and better, or who she feels is bigger and better, then she moves on to that. So let's move on to the next post. My girlfriend been saying I need to be more open-minded. She wants a threesome with another guy, but I ain't for it. We decided on a training, which was still weird for me. We did it, and I liked it. Now I'm smashing the training on the regular. Her head is A1, plus it my better GF personality than my GF. Again, this is another situation of karma right there, like, or divine intervention, because what this young lady did, she just, that was her fantasy, that's whatnot, and there are guys who are open to that, who will do that with her, but she wanted to have her cake and eat it too. But now, if she hasn't, or by now, we'll lose her boyfriend essentially to someone else, someone who that's into the things that he's into. And what's going to happen is that transgender is going to be willing to do whatever that man wants, simply because he's into it. And we all know that the difficult path they have and time they have to have somebody who's really like into them or for them. So, and there are plenty of women who are okay with a guy being into that. You can look on Twitter, I promise you, it's a topic all the time. So she essentially played herself. And the third and final post will go into stop telling men to open up and start telling people to stop using men's emotions against them. Normalize earning that trust. The problem isn't not wanting to open up. The problem is people not being worthy of the privilege. I can speak from experience that there were plenty of women I never opened up to because I could see their ill intent. I just didn't tell them things about me. I kept it secluded and off for the purpose of I knew what they were going to do. I knew the purpose of where they were coming from with things, and I just didn't want to be bothered. So, I like in college, I went to college, South Carolina State University, is in Orangeburg, South Carolina, a small place. Not, population not too big. It's not much to do around there. So entertaining women I knew I didn't want to be with long term didn't mean much to me because I already knew they were going to be long term. they tried to play their game. Meanwhile, they were just something to do to pass the time. In hindsight, I could have been working on other things, but you know, vision's always 20/20 in hindsight. So, and this is a problem a lot of men have, where they don't want to open up to women because they can see their malintent or their ill intent of what they have from them. You know, like frequent statement is women try to use their emotions against men or things they tell them against men, and that is very true. I remember a Twitter thread where women, you know, men tell them and then women use it against them when they were upset. And then they're not with the guy anymore, or the guy started cheating or doing whatever else. I know a chick that did that to me once, and I pretty much left her shortly after she did it, because it was like I made her move up there with her dad and just kind of stopped dealing with her, because it was like I could already tell what this was going. You know, she didn't have a job, she didn't have a license, she didn't have a career, she didn't have an education, but I'm paying all these things. And not to say I was a perfect guy, but I never used any of that against her in an argument. So I say this all just, you know, be careful, mindful who you date, and you know, and if you dealing with somebody who's manipulative, don't cheat, don't argue, just leave them alone. That's the best remedy for that. Leave them alone, block them, move on, because that's not something you want to deal with long term. It's not something you want to deal with short term. It's negative emotions, and it tears you from your own personal legend. So that's enough for this week. We'll get into part 2 next week, or whenever I can upload these videos. You know, it's just a lot going on right now. This is Word of Mouth. Peace.
Mm. Mm.